Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. I think we've got everything organised. Here's hoping that, even though it's kind of late in the day in my time zone, these connected players will stay connected for a little while longer. I may very well have viewers to play with, we will see. If not, then hopefully that won't be the end of the world. I don't know if this number of connected players updates live. It probably doesn't. I don't think it would still be 12. I've only been logged in for maybe 10 minutes, so I can't imagine it going from 12 to 2 or something in that time, but see what's going on. Connected players 11, alright, so case in point, I don't have to freak out. Of course, as I've said in the past, if I record in the evenings my time, there's almost no one playing this game. But it's not quite evening yet, it's getting into the mid-afternoon, it's almost 3 in the afternoon. So therefore, apparently that's good enough. Still people playing, which is good. Let's find a room. I am really quite excited because today I will be drinking a very lovely beverage, one that I didn't really expect to drink at home. I was thinking, you know, if I did manage to find it in this country, it would be in a very, I suppose you could say, eccentric bar. But no, or even outside of the country, but no, I was able to find it at my local bottle shop, which was lovely. Here's Urs. I've seen Urs before. Oh, and here's Geordie. Remember Geordie? Oh my god. He's a cheater, long story short. 100% a cheater. I have him on camera trying to give me paralysis knives outside of the quest as some sort of strategy to employ to better kill the, what was it? Event Ivory Lagiocrus. Lagiocrus, I've decided to say, instead of Lagiocrus. Anyway, I might join this room. But yeah, I mean, the guy's, and he's an idiot too. He was an idiot, and generally speaking, not worth playing with, so I will avoid him like the plague. And I'm honestly saddened that he still plays. Hello, N10. If you are available and willing to play, then I suppose I'll go and make a room of my own. Because... who am I avoiding? Geordie. You would have come across him, but I don't know if you recall my older recording some months ago. Well, I was playing with him and he was a bloody nightmare. He's an idiot. He's just one of the cheaters that chooses to ruin the experience for everyone else. Unfortunately, Geordie's already taken someone. I'll make a room, just G rank. That's G range, which is not quite what I'm looking for. It's close to I mean, if I were to keep it that way, no one would be confused. No one would look at that and say, what on earth does that mean? And they'd realise that it was a typo, but the point is that, yes, I will be fixing that. Relaxed hunting, and that'll do. So yeah, Geordie, we're not playing with that guy. And if he joins, I don't have him blocked or anything like that, but if he does join for whatever reason, he will be kicked immediately. I know it's the person that I'm thinking of. So, yeah, not happening. I can't really filter out cheaters automatically, but if I have seen them cheat in the past, you better believe they're not going to be playing with me. I don't have time for that crap. It's still not as egregious as some of the cheating that I've seen on here. Again, caught on camera, there was a guy who, like, 3-shot an Abyssal Laggy. That was ridiculous. But anyway. I don't remember his name. He probably doesn't play anymore, and if he does, he wouldn't play all that often, I don't think. I think I was meaning to purchase Pin Tuner in the past, but I must have purchased them at some point. Oh, it's Scatterfish that I was running out of. Pin Tuner I was running out of also, but there you go, get a stack of that. Maybe 2 stacks, that'd be good. I'm sorted for Pin Tuner for now. Geordie, to briefly cover the story, N10, because I've talked about it a number of times in the past, and I was certainly talking about it a lot around the time that it had happened, but we were... it was Autonomic, no, it was Vernon and I, we were playing together. Autonomic wasn't playing 3 Ultimate yet, he didn't have a Wii U. And we were fighting Ivory Laggy, the event quest, And I think we... Yeah, as I recall, it was Vernon, myself, and Geordie. And I think there were 2 deaths in the first 7 to 8 minutes of the hunt, and Geordie left. He stayed in the room, but he abandoned the quest. And he was getting all huffy about it. And Vernon and I chose to stick with the quest. We continued for another, 15 minutes from that point, as I recall. And sadly, we failed. We would have probably succeeded had Geordie stayed with us at that time. Tavo show, lovely. And Geordie's going on in the lobby about how, oh, I know how to do the event quests, just I'll show you how to do it and all this crap. And I'm thinking, yeah, great, thanks, mate. He was a much lower hunter rank at that time. He's now 700 and something. And it turned out that the strategy that he was talking about was to cheat, because he went and gave me paralysis knives here in the port before departing on the next quest, and I refused them. And I said, I don't need to cheat to win. So, and he was like, okay. And I think we ended up 2-manning the quest after that, because Vernon had to leave. He either had to go to work or go to bed or whatever. So, yeah, that was, I think, maybe 6 months ago or something like that. Maybe 5 months ago. Can't quite remember. But it was something like that. I'm not sure what hunt we're going to do. I don't have a preference. I might check to see what I have. I'll see what's interesting. I'm going to avoid Brachydios. I mean, Save the Tundra, that's a fun quest, but I just don't want to feel like doing Brachydios. I just don't want to do Brachydios. There we go, let's phrase that in a way that makes slightly more sense. I also don't want to feel like hunting it. But fortunately I don't have to try too hard to not feel like it, because I just simply do not. Let's do a burnt offering, that looks like fun. Ura Agna Alos. Losing a little bit of light outside. Natural lighting is fluctuating quite a lot at the moment, so I sort of have my lighting conditions set to low lighting. Hopefully it doesn't get super bright outside. In the meantime, I'm actually going to pour a beverage, one that I briefly mentioned at the start of this recording. It is not actually the beverage that goes in this glass. This is my never before used Westvleteren glass. It's, you can't really see it, but it's, Westvleteren 12. And, of course I don't have that particular beer. That one's pretty hard to get your hands on, even in Europe. You don't get it over here, it doesn't exist. You have to get it imported specially. But a beer that I do actually have is Echt Schlenkerla Ubok, which is a beer that I never expected to get. I'm going to hold it at this distance so that the chroma key doesn't take everything out of it. This is a beer that I'm extremely excited to try. It is seasonal to autumn in the Northern Hemisphere, so it is currently in season, and as I understand it, it is first poured on the first Thursday of October every year. It is the 2nd of October, I'm living in Australia, and I've got the fucking beer, so that's pretty cool. And I'm very excited to consume it. I might actually be very gentle with opening it here so that I can preserve the bottle top. Good, there you go. Perfect. Oh, sort of fuck the bottle top a little bit. I mean, you can't really see. It's mostly untouched, but it did just buckle a little bit in the center. Anyway, very excited to try it. It's technically a lager. The Bock style of beer is essentially a lager, although I think some of them can be ales. This one I believe is a dark lager, but you know, better than any sort of lager, I must say. It's not, calling it a lager does a disservice to the beer, and I'm very excited to try it. Oh my goodness. And I felt that this was the only glass that was really appropriate for it. And let me tell you that I think I'm going to really like it. Oh my god. Just amazing. The amount of flavour in it. It's so good. An incredible amount of flavour, very different to any of the stuff that I drink these days. Sort of comparable. The closest thing that it comes to in regards to the beers that I drink these days is it's stout in flavour. I guess it's similar to a stout, most comparable to a stout. But it's not a stout, but yeah, it's just fucking delightful. I mean, oh. I've got 2 of them too, and there are more on the way. As far as what I'll use, I might actually bring... Have I got a Waken Hammer here? Yeah, I'm going to bring the Grongigas. Feels like a good idea. But yeah, I nearly fucking fell over when I saw Echt Schlenkerler in my fucking local bottle shop. This is not the hammer that I was talking about. I could use this, I mean, no, I won't use it. I'm going to apologise for taking so long, by the way. Because I've been indulging in my lovely beverage. But yeah, really nice beer. And I'm going to savour it. It is the type of beer to enjoy slowly. It's not a super heavy one, it's only about 6.2 ABV, something like that, but, you know, you don't need a beer to be terribly heavy to enjoy it. Yes, I found it in a local store. And it was just, yeah, just sitting on the shelf. 3 types of it. The other one was the Weizen and Marbach, I think it was. And I couldn't fucking believe it. I had seen the beer before, not in person, but, you know, while going through a list of German beers. And I thought that'd be a really nice one to try. It's very good and rather, I suppose... Oh, hold on. Have I eaten? I did just eat. Okay. Sorry for the wait. But yeah, certainly an atypical beer, at least as far as what you'd find in my country, and it's just, yes, delightful. That's what it is, it's smoky. I remember reading a description of Urbach just before starting this, well, not just before, but, you know, today I read a description. Oh, thank you for the Fellbine. But yeah, I remember reading a description and it said it was smoky. And that's what I've been tasting. It's just this real smoky flavour. I love it. Don't worry, says Tavo. Thank you for your understanding. It'd be nice if I could position myself properly. I'd love that. I will be ensuring that my lighting is appropriate. It's, again, not great right now. In terms of my natural lighting, it's not great. In terms of how I look on the webcam, should be reasonably okay. What was it about Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate that you don't like? I will say, first and foremost, that I generally do like the game. I don't really have anything against Generations Ultimate. But if the question is instead, what aspects of Generations Ultimate do I not like, with the assumption that it is a game that I enjoy, I don't like the Deviant Quest system. I think it's a ridiculous system that was perhaps good in concept, but executed truly terribly. I think Deviant monsters are good. I think it's a great idea to replace subspecies with Deviants. But the quest system that is attached to Deviants, on the other hand, is quite frankly downright terrible. It is just it is please do my urgent, but 10 times worse. And it's basically please do my urgent, but for an entire line of quests. And it's crap. Whoever thought that was a good fucking idea really wasn't thinking very much about it. You know, they might have thought about it at least enough to say, oh, that might be a good idea, but then they didn't actually simulate it in their minds. Because had they done so, they would have realized that it was a terrible idea. But, you know, apparently that's not good enough for Capcom sometimes, for it to be a terrible idea in a, you know, hypothetical, theoretical, simulated scenario that they put to themselves in their heads, because if they were to even design based on that, they wouldn't have come to many decisions that they've come to, I feel. But, yeah, that was one of the main things that I didn't like about Generations Ultimate. I can say that I didn't like the styles, but I wasn't forced to engage with the styles, and technically speaking, I didn't have to fight deviant monsters either. So that's why I like Generations Ultimate. That's what I would say to that, to give further clarity to my opinions regarding Generations Ultimate. The reason why I do like it, in spite of all the things about it that I don't like all that much, is precisely because I'm not forced to play the game with those features. I'm not forced to use styles. I'm not forced to fight deviant monsters. So, yeah. I return to it quite frequently and enjoy it. The reason why the game pisses me off these days has nothing to do with the game itself, but everything to do with the community. The community can fuck right off. They're a bunch of idiots. It's shocking. It's actually like they're all competing to see which one is the biggest fool. It's really hard to make sense of. I do apologise for not having achieved a KO. I've been a little bit distracted, I guess. I don't know. There you go. Have to be careful not to hit any of these rocks. I'm very close to them. There you go. Not too much health anyway. But I will say that I could have contributed a little bit more to that. Is it full carb? No, this would be Mega Potions here. I don't know if I've used one. Well, I won't carb them. Next one should be Agnaktor, and I can only assume that he would spawn over here. Tarbo is heading in that direction, which is possibly fine. I'm going to make sure that everything's alright with the lighting. It was concerning me before. I'd now like to... Okay, lighting is not actually all that great, so... I'm basically having to assume... low lighting condition mode, or stance, or, you know, that's... I basically set that up with the word assume, as if it were a state of being. It is a state of being. It's a state of protocol to set things up as like a low lighting recording, which is usually nighttime recording, where there is no natural light to speak of. Whoop. I don't know what Tarbo was doing. Maybe he thought that Rathalos was going to spawn and that Rathalos would spawn there. I mean, Rathalos has spawned in that location in the past, like in Monster Hunter Tri, but I believe that was only for the single quest, particularly the one in the village. I recall he started in that area. Don't know what Tarbo was looking to do there, but whatever. I don't often find myself using a hammer against Agnaktor. It's not the most fun you could ever have fighting an Agnaktor, I will say. But it's fine, I guess. The mobility of upswings makes it perfectly fine. If I were using hammer as it was prior to 3rd generation, this would be totally miserable. It would be an awful experience. But that upswing mobility, it makes all the difference, really. The upswing was a great implementation. Oh. Hello, Arexia, good to see you. Trying to do a turnaround here if I can. I would have been able to. I guess that's my fault for walking into N10. It's not like N10 was being in any way lazy in his aiming. He was just minding his own business and I walked in front of him and half blamed him for it. I mean, I will admit that I was setting up for, you know, the ideal turnaround upswing, which I would have succeeded in, but, you know, it was not to be. It was a matter of happenstance, not a matter of N10 playing poorly, or anything like that. Also, I will apologise to Tarbo for upswinging him there. He's not in need of an apology because he's a nice guy, but I will give one anyway. And he responds with a DW, yes indeed. Get a turnaround super pound this time. Well, it was going to get one. Now Costa's sending Tarbo in the air. I'm sure, as nice of a guy Tarbo is, I'm sure that would frustrate him, to be upswung by a fucking switch axe. I mean, hammer is one thing if you're standing near the head, but switch axe? No, there's not much of an allowance to be made for that sort of behaviour. As far as I'm concerned, if you're using the switch axe with people, doesn't matter how many people, quite frankly, if you're playing multiplayer with a switch axe, the upswing should not be part of your combo. It just shouldn't be. The motion value is not very impressive. It doesn't really achieve anything on its own, unless the monster's sort of flying in the air and you're looking to knock it down, and needless to say that is not happening in this fight. But more importantly, it poses a risk to the people that you're playing with. You know, this is not 4th generation. If you upswing someone here, they are stuck in an animation for like at least 5 seconds, unable to do anything to the monsters, so it's terrible. No mega potions for the team. Kill monster in lava. I don't know, we might not be in need of mega potions, but I'd hold off personally. I'll tell you what, I'm well and truly chuffed, as they say. Having this beer here, I mean, I almost don't deserve it. It's a lovely beverage. I mean, I deserve it. I deserve it. I deserve this beer. But, you know, it's definitely a... definitely a treat. I do have a need for mega potions. Well, not a need, I have a want for them. And I believe that Azurathlos is going to spawn in his usual location, not in this area. Although Tavo might see things differently. Let's kill Volvi. Because why not? I think the invading monsters are at full health, but he's going to die very quickly. He's not going to last. I think it would be more fun to kill him. I don't know if that would be stepping on anyone's toes in terms of, you know, the ammo that N10 has allocated to this quest, or, you know, the elemental damage being dealt by teammates. I haven't actually checked to see what everyone's using. Actually, no, Tavo's going Paralysis Longsword. I think he goes Paralysis Longsword fairly often. I'm not really going to be aiming for the head here, I'll just be going for slime DPS, I suppose. Aiming for the head on this monster is a bit of a task. Okay. Yeah, it was funny, I was noticing today how bright it was outside, and I was thinking, you know, this is actually a pretty good day to record PC. No, it's not. You know, lighting for my PC setup, and it just, yeah, it's now quite dark. Oh well. It's the way it has to be, I suppose. Could you stop bouncing around, really? I might put down a shock trap. It's a little risky, he might leave the area shortly, but I'm going to pray that he doesn't. Oh, don't you leave. I know you want to. I certainly wouldn't be able to blame myself if he did, because I've been standing behind the trap quite diligently here. Look at this. They're not very forgiving when it comes to the head position. If you're not right on that head, you're not getting any KO damage. It's rough. See that? I swear, I don't know what I'm hitting if it's not the head. Maybe I'm getting the side of the neck or something? I've got no fucking idea, it's weird. But you can see, look at that, like what is that hitting that's not the head? And okay, I managed to KO, but still, I think you guys can see very clearly that most of these hits are not getting KO damage off. Look at that. See what I'm saying? Like, that's KO damage. That's KO damage, but you know what it probably was? That was likely a lag compensation KO, because on my screen I was barely getting KO hits, even though I was right on the head, and hitting things that really could only be the head. Very bizarre. It didn't look like the claws, Ardan, because The blood spatter was coming off the head and around the neck. Indeed, it would make sense for it to be the claws, but that's not where the blood was coming from. It was coming from the facial region. It's a bit weird, but anyway. Let's kill these fucking Melinks. I've got nothing against cats, but these particular cats, I do take exception to. Alright. Oh, he spawns down there. Well, it certainly wasn't in the lava area, at least. I do not have flash bombs on hand, so I guess I'm going to be missing out on a number of head opportunities here. I was hoping he'd turn to me, but that's fine. Sorry, Costa, but not sorry, actually, because the reality is, you're an upswinging switch axer. Upswinging switch axe axer. That's what he is. Isn't it nice to have a head that actually deals KO damage when you hit it? Yeah. Get him on the turnaround. Or not. He's not obligated to turn around. Or at least not on land. There we go. Actually going to do a goal swing here. Land compensation will have dealt the damage, fear not. If I hit you, Costa, it's no one's fault but yours, really. The head is my domain, and you're gonna have to live with it. It's not for you. Oh, he's out of the carve zone. He might not be. You might be able to just get carves on the neck, but... yeah. Oh, yes. Still carvable. Looks like someone tried to drop a trap, but... oh yeah, I see. Yes, I remember that. I was too focused on the head in that moment to go and stand by the trap. Oh, right. I'd completely forgotten about the fact that Volvidon was an invading monster and not one of the monsters in the lineup. So of course he had moved since we were fighting Volvidon. That's why I was standing there waiting for him to spawn. I'd forgotten that he'd already spawned. Quite obviously. I need all the true armor spheres I can get, let me tell you. I don't know why I don't have many Azure Rathalos Cortexes. I must have used them on something. I don't know what, but it must have been something. Weird. But yeah, killing that Volvidon really didn't add much time onto the quest, did it? Because even though, as I understand it, he did have full health, he's a tier 1 monster more or less, so... yeah, pretty quick to die at the hands of a team such as ours. Alright. Now what hunter rank is Costa? Hunter rank 7. I don't know if I'm feeling overly charitable today, but I do feel like I want him to post. You know, it's not actually about me wanting to help him, it's about me wanting more purpose in the posting of quests than, oh, let's just do this looks like fun. If it's getting something done for someone, it's more enjoyable for me, so... yeah, I don't... look, Costa hasn't really done anything to deserve my my ire, but yeah, let's, I'll let him know that he can post. Need anything, Costa? Actually, he of course needs something, I'll just tell him he can post. It's a one-man show, really. Because he's the only one who would really need anything. I didn't know that mask existed for Kayamba. Look at that. Genuinely didn't know. Well, now I know. Why is Kayamba there, by the way? Shouldn't he be following someone? Maybe he's just glitched out. No, he's Tarbo's Kayamba, so what's going on with that? An unruly Kayamba who refuses to follow his master. Very well. Desert desertion. It's along the lines of something that I would have posted anyway. I don't know if this is something that he needs or just something that he feels like posting, but I would guess that it's the latter because I don't know, I wouldn't be posting advanced quests in his situation normally, I'd be looking to post something else. I don't know, I won't question it too much. Let's go ranged. Might bring... I don't know. What would be fun? Actually, yeah, let's bring a bow. Maybe... Spread ice? What is my spread ice bow? I've got no idea, believe me. This might be it. Arco Tri. Is that ice? I think it is. It's either water or... It is ice. Okay, so this is my spread ice setup. I didn't feel like going rapid, and I didn't feel like going spread... Or didn't feel like going pierce, so that leaves only one option if I am to use bow. And thanks to the triple slot on this bow, I've no doubt been able to secure, I think, another level of expert. Or critical eye in this case. Both are correct. So I've got critical eye +2. I mean, it doesn't really make up for the fact that this bow is really not that good. I use this bow because I have no other choice. But it's not that great of a bow, this particular one. It's because of its coating boost to paralysis. Because of that, the bow's not that functional outside of... I mean, it's fine, but it could be better outside of dealing paralysis damage, so... Well, paralysis build-up. I don't know if it can shoot power coatings, but I will check. It can't. So what I'll do is I'll just bring paralysis and... that should be fine. Alright. Onward to quest number 2. Funny story behind this glass that I'm using, by the way. It's a story that I told, I think, about a year ago, but I don't think any of you were watching during that recording. This glass took maybe, I'd say about 8 months, 8 to 10 months to be shipped to me, this West Fletteren glass. And, how it happened was I ordered it, and then the guy didn't contact me for ages. He went AWOL, as they say. And, I left him alone. I was like, well, as you do, he'll get back to me eventually. I sort of had faith that he would. And I think what I did was, I think I contacted him maybe 4 months into, maybe 3 months into it. I can't, again, it was a while ago, so I don't remember exactly how long I waited to get in contact. And when I contacted him, someone responded to me on his behalf saying that he was in the hospital after having suffered a terrible accident. Like a serious accident. And I was like, well, okay, I can't very well take issue with that now, can I? I mean, the guy is seemingly in hospital, and, you know, I'm waiting for a glass to be delivered. I think I can wait. And I did. I waited for quite some time, and many months after that, I believe it was something like 8 months in total since I'd initially made the order, he got into contact with me, the original seller. And he said that, you know, he was out of the hospital and he was lucky to be alive. It was some sort of life-threatening injury. I didn't, you know, I suppose push him for details because it's none of my business. I didn't know the guy outside of, you know, the fact that I bought a glass from him, but yeah, he went and sent it, and I got it eventually, and yeah, that was the end of the ordeal. It was a bit of a saga in a way, not like an active saga, more of a passive one, but yeah, I eventually got his glass. The order, he didn't even have access to the details regarding the order. It had been so long since the order was made, so he was going based on memory. He was like, "You got the West Lethren glass, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he just sent it. You know, no problem. And, yeah. I don't know, who knows, he might not have ever been able to make a full recovery, based on whatever happened to him. I don't know what happened to him, I've got no idea. I can only assume that he had a terrible fall, or... I mean, really, it could be anything, couldn't it? But yeah, he was down for a while. And no doubt had coordinated another person to contact all of the people that were wondering what was going on eBay. No doubt. But by response only, rather than actively trying to contact, because that would be harder to get on top of, I would imagine, or harder to coordinate. I'll get my coatings out again. Should be able to get 2 paralyses off here. Indeed, because of the coating boost, paralysis is very effective here. It's funny, the first time I told this story about this glass, it was also in the 3rd gen desert in 3 Ultimate. Which is an interesting coincidence. But yeah, I hope the guy's doing alright. I didn't know him, so... and there wasn't much for me to say or do, but... yeah, it was weird. I was just patient, didn't, like, hassle him. It wasn't any of my business. In the end, you know, it was a glass. I didn't need it immediately. I just didn't want to spend the money and not get anything ever. As long as it came eventually, I was content. And it did come eventually, so... that's all that mattered. But I suppose more importantly, the guy was alive, so... yeah. Getting regular carbs here. I'm not really in need of Sand Barrioth stuff, but I think I did end up using a bit of Sand Barrioth stuff, so I'm not actually at stacks of 99 for everything that he drops. S. Barrioth Lash. I will keep that. What's that? That is the... is it called the Sphenocene God or something like that? It's the Lagombi heavy bowgun. Don't know if I'm remembering that name correctly. Why? If I am correct about that being the name of the bowgun, I've got no idea how I managed to remember it, but yeah. I seem to recall having seen it before. At least, well, of course I've seen it before, but I remember it well enough to remember the name. I mean, incredibly, I don't know what the bloody hell's going on. It must be raining outside. I mean, you'd think it was evening. There is almost no lighting outside whatsoever. It's incredible. Yeah, it's so fucking dark. Holy god. Well, now I guess my... Oh no, it's not terrible. The chroma key's not biting into me too much. Let's have a look. Sphenocene God, I was correct. Weird. So that's what you use for your heavy pierce bowgun. I suppose it would be perfectly fine. I'm happy to see that set though. I've compared it before, but you have a very similar set to mine. It's basically the same. Which is great because it means you also see the value in evade extender with a heavy bowgun, which is rare, honestly. We've got the exact same set, except you have attack up small, so I'm assuming that you've gemmed in attack on the weapon, because if I know my Lagombi weapons well, they usually have 2 to 3 slots, so I'm guessing that's how you've achieved attack up medium. Is that correct? I'm incorrect. That has no slots on it. Okay, you've just got a better talisman than me. It's a dragon talisman. Oh, yeah. Plus 10 attack with plus 4 evade extender. That's... yeah, obviously better. And of course I can't see what the actual charm is. I wouldn't know what comes from decorations and what comes from these skills on the charm natively, but anyway. You can keep posting, Costa. Feel free. Well, yeah, I noticed that it's, I noticed that you weren't getting any points out of that heavy bowgun, so I assumed that it had no slots. Oh, you mean the talisman had 0 slots, I see. So, fucking plus 10 attack, plus 4 evade extender. That's pretty crazy. I certainly wouldn't mind a talisman like that. But I haven't really spent much time mining in this game to get talismans. That's really the way you get them. You just mine a lot. Don't really have the time for it. I'm pretty happy with the armor sets that I have. This is what happens when you let other people post. Oh, Brachydios. Yeah, well. I suppose I can do 1. I can live with 1, but any more than that, and he'll be overstepping the boundary a bit. What would be fun to use? Maybe dual blades. Haven't used dual blades in a while. It feels like it's been a while anyway. I don't recall the last time I bothered using them. Awaken water dual blades. Do I have any? I think I do. Here we go. Uber death snaps. Very good. Yeah. There comes the rain, or here comes the rain, I suppose. It's either there goes the rain, or here comes the rain. Get it right, Doomlink. The point of the matter is that it's raining, and it seems like it is accompanied by some wind as well. Which is, understandable, because it's so fucking overcast, it's ridiculous. It's not in the middle of the day, I mean, it's 3:37 PM, but it's bloody dark. So, yeah, that would explain the darkness. And I'm not talking about the early 2000s rock band. That's difficult to explain. That's what I want to do. I want to purchase some drinks. I'm very much enjoying this beer, in case anyone needed an update on that. It's fucking nice. And if it is indeed a lager, technically speaking, being a Bock beer, it's just best lager I've ever had. You know, there are actual nice lagers out there. Like, lager is not actually just shit by default. There are actual lagers that are good. They do exist, it's just they're very rare. Very hard to find. But anyway. Hopefully that wasn't N10 disconnecting, because N10 literally phased out of existence there. That either means that he started loading the quest before all of us, or he disconnected. He started loading it first. Very good. Okay. I don't know if you can hear the ambient sounds of the rain, but it's actually pretty heavy. I like rain. Like, to be honest, if I've got no lighting to work with, I'm fine with it if I'm getting rain in return. No, you wouldn't be able to hear it, unfortunately. Not over the game sound, anyway. The game's fairly loud, so... But yeah, it's raining pretty well at the moment. Pretty hard. This is a fairly large Brachydios, by the way. He is definitely Gold Crown large worthy. Get up off the ground, then. Yeah, having a Brachydios that's really big, not all that fun. Because he's very mobile. So you don't want a mobile monster to be large. The smaller the better, because they cover less distance, obviously. If my recording setup wasn't so messy and barely functional, I'd be able to pick up my microphone and take it outside and you could listen to the sound of the rain. But, I wouldn't do that. Not under these circumstances. Basically, I've got wires that are basically blocking me. Yeah, I'm boxed in. Long story short. Need to get my charge back up on the old dual blades. Makes it harder when I've got the Lance Extraordinaire launching me. That is a lance I still have to make. I don't know why I haven't made it yet. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm assuming that it's awakened. Yeah, that's why I haven't made it. It's because I don't have an awakened fucking lance/gun lance set up yet. I do need to take some time to just go and send my fucking boats out to the rare treasure location, which is honestly just a miserable experience. It's just stupid. I don't know whose fucking idea that was, and I talk about it all the time. I hate having to get the Arshan set. It's a terrible process, but anyway. I do need to do that so that I can actually make some awakened lances and gun lances. I understand that N10 might not use that lance in that way, but that's how I would prefer to use it. Was that a paralysis? I think it was. It was over and done with pretty quickly, because the tail was almost immediately cut. Oh, come to think of it, I'm not usually on this side. When I record Monster Hunter, I'm usually on the left side. I've been so distracted by my lovely beverage that I hadn't actually taken notice of that. Now you can actually see the potions counter and, well, you know, my usable items anyway. It's better to be on this side, believe me. Oh, I think that's why I was on this side. It was so that I could possibly show the beer and the glass without it being flipped. But I forgot to actually change it. I will be sharpening up shortly. Let's do it now. No. See, in the time that it takes for me to sharpen, I really can't dive in that time. I don't know what I was launched by. Something launched me. I don't believe it was me diving. Couldn't have been. Whoa, what's going on? Someone's connection is fucking going balls to the wall right now. Could be mine. I don't think so, but it could be. Well, just ran out of charge. I regret to inform my audience. Okay. Of course, when you lose your charge, you have to actually get all the way up to full to receive the benefits from it. Lovely. Love getting randomly launched. It's my favorite thing. Look at that. He's actually glitching around the place. I think it's Costa's host, honestly. I think he's not hosting very well right now. That would be my guess. Network instability, you know. It is the way of the world. It's what dominates our everyday lives. Well, maybe the instability of it, but rather the potential for instability does dominate our lives. We are governed by the internet in our current generation. Come to think of it, this Brachydios has taken quite a beating, and he's only now limping. I guess, yeah, if you think about it, he doesn't have reduced health for being one of multiple monsters or anything, so it makes sense that he would take a bit of a beating like this. And it's good. I mean, we don't want it to be much faster than this, surely. I think this is fast enough. Otherwise, it's not much of a substantial hunt. Almost wish that he wasn't flinched there. Fuck off, Rhinopolis, seriously. Although I would take a Rhinopolis over a Bullfango any day. I can't remember if Bullfango are in this game. They should be. Given that the Misty Peaks exists in this game, Bullfango should exist as well. I just don't remember clearly. I don't remember any Bullfango-based weaponry or anything like that, so maybe Bullfango don't exist. And if they don't, then great, quite frankly. That's great. I was just thinking that maybe Bullfango would be here, considering that they do exist, see? That's annoying. Actually, yeah, I recall that Bulldrome's in this game too, isn't he? I'm pretty sure I remember that. I remember fighting him in the flooded forest. No, I'm remembering... Excuse me, I'm literally remembering fighting Bulldrome in the flooded forest in Portable 3rd, because I actually thought back to what I was remembering and I realized that it was in a part of the flooded forest that is actually underwater in this game, so it must have been Portable 3rd when I was remembering that. Therefore, Bulldrome's not in this game. Because as far as I'm aware, he isn't. There's no way. So, there you go. And that's honestly a good thing. Bulldrome is just a waste of a monster. A waste of space of a monster is what I mean to say. I'll take a Dragon Fellberry, you better believe it. Took everything but the monster slog bones, I really am not in need of those. Entering 453. I did have Exchanger for that hunt, but I was at like 103 HRP left to hunt rank up, so I could have really done anything. Could have done a low rank quest and I would have HR'd up. HRP is currently at 8,850. Let that be a clear comparison to the likes of Generations Ultimate, where I think it caps out at like 3,000 or 3,500, something like that. Sadly, I'm partially disappearing due to how strict this chroma key is. Drop it back slightly. Oh well. I literally was trying to avoid doing nighttime recordings for this very reason, and I literally record in the middle of the day. Well, technically not the middle of the day, but when there should be natural light, and it's fucking raining with no light at all. Sounds about right, huh? That's alright. Got a lovely beverage to tide me over, while I wait for decent lighting to arrive. Not like I'm waiting the whole time. Tomorrow should be better, hopefully. Volcanic activity really is just posting the quests that I would otherwise post, minus the Brachydios. What would be fun? Dragon would be fun. Dragon, Sword and Shield. Awaken. Although Sword and Shield is not a weapon that I generally like to use against Uragan, but I immediately thought about what weapons I don't usually use, and then I realized that one is the Stygian Sword and Shield. Again, keeping in mind that Stygian weapons in this game, most of them require Awaken to get the element, which is interesting, but yeah, when Awaken is used to unlock the latent element, it will become a very, very good weapon. This weapon blows the Elatrion Sword and Shield out of the water. It's really good. Particularly with Sharpness +1. So my current stats are 394 attack, 370 dragon, with lots of sharpness, as you can tell. And 2 slots on top of all that. It's very good. Very good indeed. Tavo seems to be willing to use the same thing every hunt. I don't know why, but I don't have an issue with Tavo, as you all well know, but I will never understand it when people are just willing to use the same thing for every hunt. It's just so boring. Especially if I were in his position. You know, he's done all these quests so many times before, yet he won't even go so far as to at least change his loadout. It's very strange. I don't understand how a person can do it. Anyway. It is possible that he's one of those people who is just really comfortable with longsword and doesn't want to use anything else, but I don't know that for a fact. I feel like I've seen him with other stuff outside of longsword, but anyway. He's very comfortable with this for now. Evidently. Good flash bomb. Oh, it feels so good to be able to jump like that with the sword and shield. I'm so sick of the sliding animation. I talk about it all the time, so I won't go into deep detail, but I don't like the sliding attack of the X and A. I much prefer it as a jump forward, as it was in the first 3 generations of Monster Hunter. Just feels better. Gives it that sense of verticality. With an attack that is basically used to reposition you. We will go to that trap, it's just I think we're all quite comfortable in the beatdown that is currently taking place. There you go. Speaking of beatdown, really. You don't have to take it from me, you can just see it happening before your very eyes for yourself. I may as well carve. Certainly don't need anything, but I'll carve anyway. And I'll get the tail as well. Give me a plate. Or a mantle. I'll take either. I'm pretty sure you can get plates in G rank, but I have a feeling that plates across the board are more easily acquired in high rank than G rank. I could be totally wrong, but I've got this feeling. I think it's hardest in low rank, second hardest in G rank, and then easiest in high rank. I said low rank first, right? Anyway, doesn't matter. The point of the matter is that I think high rank's best for plates. I won't be doing as much damage against Uragan here as compared to Rathalos, but I'm still reasonably effective elementally. And of course my raw damage is still pretty decent. Well, apparently I can attack his chin without bouncing with purple sharpness, which is definitely refreshing to see. I feel like I should be able to attack anything with purple sharpness without bouncing, quite frankly, but yeah, look at that, that's lovely. Really gives purple sharpness a bit of, I don't know, significance. Really makes it feel like it's worth having. It's not a great place, as you can see, to have to contend with that attack, because there's not much space for him to roll around, given the much more limited area for him to roll around in. There's less space for you to get out of the way. But no one was hit, having said all that. I don't really want to attack the face because, I mean, I suppose I could contribute to creating a weak point, but N10's probably got that covered. I would have to admit that part of it is the satisfaction of being able to hit the chin without bouncing. Can you stop with the upswings? I understand that you don't know how to use a switch axe any other way, but it's about time you learned, okay? It's never too late for anyone to learn how to not upswing with a fucking switch axe, okay? But I suppose he needs to be told that. It's not like he can hear what I'm saying right now. But the point of the matter is that it shouldn't be part of his combo. Exactly for that reason. But it does send teammates flying. As you can see, I'm now at white sharpness, not even intending to hit the chin, but I am bouncing. I was a bit worried about that fire geyser there. Well, I will commend you on the KO, but the timing of it was not great. Oh dear. Switch axe guy has the right idea doing that. Oh no. Well, here we are, all congregating around the face. This really is terrible. Imagine the damage we could have dealt. Well, I suppose it was still good enough, but could have dealt so much more damage if he wasn't in an awkward place. But yeah, good for Costa. We're just here doing whatever he wants. What a mess, says Enten. That was a bit messy towards the end, but again it was good enough. The monster's dead. That's what matters. Happy to get some use out of this sword though. I don't use it nearly often enough. Should be able to top up this glass with the rest of my beer. Beer. Which is how I've decided to say it. Oh god. Trying to show it without the chroma key ruining it. That's alright. Oh. I have Wrath Medula to sell, as you can see. Alright. I'll just have to remember to do that. If I can. But yeah, I will be doing 2 hours today. That is the plan. I'm not really in the mood to do more than that. Haven't been in the mood to do more than that for a while. Really. No, that was actually my 99th scale for Steel Uragan, weirdly enough. Right, where's Wrath Medula? There we go. Sell you. Almost got a whole row of open slots, which probably looks a bit sad, but that's pretty good for me. I'm happy with that. What have we got next? Just regular Azure Rathalos. I'll take it. Really, I'd rather that than Brachydios. Let's do it. I'll bring Elemental Light Bowgun. Nether Flosion. Keeping in mind that it was only recently that I decided to make this particular armor set my main light elemental bowgun set. It was so funny, like I had this perfect set for elemental light bowgun, but I had only allocated it for use with dragon light bowgun. And I was using something else for all the other elements, but there was literally no reason for me to do that, because all of my light bowguns, as they should be, were able to rapid fire the respective element that it could shoot. So, yeah. The bonus shot on this set just made it better than the other one that I was using. Both sets had peak performance, but again, bonus shot makes all the well, maybe not all the difference, but it was good. Or is good to have, I should say. Have to do a bit more selling of monster materials here. I'll remove thunder shots. N10's doing a little dance over there, which is nice. Bring huskberries and flashbugs. Again, you would imagine that it would be thunderbugs, but the point is that thunderbugs are deemed to be too valuable. So flashbugs is the way to go for combinations. Alright. Looks like Tavo and I had the same idea. Great minds think alike. I really don't know why you just disappear like that, N10. It's really weird. Like, we're all just standing there, ready to depart on the quest, and before it even starts to fade out, you just fucking disappear. It's really weird how that happens. You're on a 3DS, that's why. So, does that mean you have a Wii U as well, and you're playing on the Wii U servers because of that Wii U, or are you doing some exploit that allows you to play? Are you playing on Monster Hunter 3G right now, is the question. You're just, using your Wii U, okay. Well, I don't know if there's a way to play on the 3DS with the Wii U community without a Wii U. It might be possible, but I don't know how you'd do it. Oh yeah, that's right. Peak performance. Keeping ourselves at full health is very much worthwhile. So that will be done. Oh. I really don't want to take a hit. As you can imagine. I think under any circumstances I would rather not take a hit, but it's just especially frustrating when you're trying to make use of peak performance. Azure weaker to ice than thunder? It's possible. I will check that. I do usually use Dragon for Azure Rathalos, but I hadn't really thought about that. I had just assumed that Thunder would be the secondary, but it could be the tertiary weakness. I'll have a look and see. I just didn't feel like going Dragon Light Bowgun for this setup, or for this monster. That was a bit of a weird knockdown there. Evidently not from me. But yeah, I will check the elemental weaknesses of Azure Rathalos. It could very well be the case that Ice is about the same as Thunder. The reality is that Rathalos used to be weaker, or his weakness used to be Ice, back in 2nd gen. I don't remember what it was in 1st gen, because keeping in mind, Ice wasn't actually in 1st gen as an element. And I don't think he was weakest to water, so maybe he was originally weak to dragon, then they made it Ice, and then they made it dragon again. I don't know, it's very weird. I don't think he was weak to water in 1st gen. He couldn't have been weak to an element that didn't exist, in other words, so... yeah, it's a bit weird. The closest thing to Ice is obviously water, so... I mean, fire-breathing dragon, weak to water. I don't believe so. It's possible. 1st gen's pretty fucking weird, but... maybe Thunder. Maybe Thunder was the main weakness. I don't fucking know. There isn't really a place that you can go to check to see what the weakness of a Rathalos was in 1st gen. Sadly. Information relating to 1st gen's pretty damn limited. You can find it, it's just not in arm's reach. Alright. I'm going to check to see what's going on with the weakness of Azure Rathalos. We're going to check Ping's Dex. Trusty Ping's Dex. Monster Hunter 3G Dex. Monster. Azure Rathalos. He is slightly weaker to ice than thunder. Good to know. It is worth mentioning that he's actually equally weak to water as he is weak to thunder. And water and thunder are only slightly, we're talking just barely, worse than ice. Long story short, dragon or go home would be my recommendation. which is no doubt what I had established quite some time ago, because I never go Thunder against Azura Rathalos. I always go Dragon, and I didn't really remember why, it's just that's what I've always done, and so that's no doubt why. But I thought that if I was going to go Bowgun, I may as well go Thunder, but yeah, good to know. I will keep that in mind. Of course, did not actually need combination materials for Thunder Shots there. I don't know why I was expecting to need them. It would make sense to have them there as a contingency, but I was genuinely including Flashbugs and Huskberries thinking that I'd need them. I don't know why. Anyway. A little bit unnecessary, I would say. We'll see what our next hunt is. See, this is more fun. To have a guy who's at Hunter Rank 7 posting all sorts of different quests. I think that's much more enjoyable than me going to the board and just choosing something that might be fun. In fact, I don't think it, I know it, to be more enjoyable. So, there you go. I'm assuming Costa is checking his upgrades. He's certainly not forced to speed up the process. He's happy to, or I'm happy to have him take his time, within reason, of course. That doesn't translate to, oh, you can take 30 minutes. Alright. What's on the board now? Green Nagakuga. Rightio. N10 had resolved to use the Nether Flosion no matter what, and it just so happened that the monster on the board was appropriate for Thunder, although I think Fire is a little better in this case. Let me put that to bed once and for all. As I understand it, Standard Nagakuga is weakest to Thunder, and then his secondary weakness is Fire, and that should be reversed for Green. I'm going to check that right now. I've always assumed that was the case, but I don't have a recollection of having confirmed it. Is that right? Green... No, Green Nagakuga is still weakest to Thunder. Why? See, the reason why I assumed that is because it would have made more sense. What's the point of having a subspecies that's just weak to the same thing? It makes no fucking sense. Whose bright idea was that? Let's have a subspecies that is the same monster but a different colour and with the same weaknesses. You can at least give it different weaknesses so you're using different weapons. Capcom... Really, guys, it's not hard. How did these idiots conceptualize one of the best game series of all time? It really... It's just shocking. I don't understand. But this is the thing. Like... There is no good subspecies of first gen N10, but by third generation, you'd expect something better than Green Nagakuga. Comparing it to first generation is just not appropriate. Anyway, yeah, Green Nagakuga just... Oh, what's the point? What is the point of the same elemental weakness? It's a waste of time. Anyway, I'll bring Rapid Bow. I don't know what my Thunder Rapid Bow is, so we're gonna have to find out. Unless Is it what I think it is, or am I thinking of... No, I'm thinking of... Yes. Unfortunately, I'm thinking of 4 Ultimate. I have, in 4 Ultimate, for my Thunder Rapid Bow, a set just for it. It's an Awaken Thunder Bow set for Rapid, for a specific bow. It's a really nice bow. I forgot the name of it, but... yeah, it's great. Very nice. Alright, so Oppressor's answer, would it be you? Well, it would work, but I don't think it's you. I think it's a different one. Acros White Bolt? Possibly. No, you're my spread bow. Ah. No, it's not you either. What the fuck? So, you're telling me I have 2? No, it must be you then. You must be my rapid bow, and then my nether bow would be my pierce bow. Okay, fair enough. Sorry for the long setup time. I do get confused in amongst all of my bows. Defend high. It was a hearty meal. You're quite right about that. Think power coding should be available? Yes. I'll just buy 50 and leave it at that. I don't have time to bring combination materials, you've got to be joking. I haven't the time for something like that. Particularly not for a single green Naga Cougar. Tarbo's definitely got a thing for paralysis, nothing wrong with that, but he's got a thing for it. Night Stalker. Well, he's not very well camouflaged with his fucking bright green coat. Ooh, Night Stalker, but he's like... what's green again? Grover. It's like fucking Grover turning up in the middle of the night. Great. Hey, Grover. Actually, that'd be pretty scary. If Grover turned up in the middle of the night, I'd probably shit. No, that was a bit... that was poor. Quite poor. Oh, very good, very good. Whoops. No. That was actually heading towards me, but N10 caught it. But not on his screen, only on my screen did it make contact with him. But because it happened on my screen, he sponged the hit for me. Which was very much appreciated. Put a fucking tree in the way. That's the paralysis out of the shock trap. Which you only notice if you happen to notice the trap being destroyed, but the same animation persisting. The animation in question being, you know, the rigid paralysis animation. I don't think this monster is long for this world. Especially with all these knockdowns. I'm such an idiot. I never equipped power coatings. Now let's do some real fucking damage. There will come times when I'm using the bow and I just don't remember to equip my power coatings. Really. Very good. But yes, this is one of those times. as you can see. I'll be doing a bit more damage during this paralysis as compared to the last one. Very good. I will not be carving the main body. I don't know if it's still raining outside, but it's still overcast. Exceedingly so. Annoying as that is. Living in Australia, I have to tell you, rain is always intermittent. I want it to either be raining or not raining. I don't want this back and forth crap. Really. Not in the bloody mood for it. I've never been in the mood for it. I say that sort of half jokingly. I'm not in the mood for it. The point is that I don't like it, but I phrase it in a rather tongue-in-cheek way. Alright, I'm sick of getting team player. Why would I want team player? I swear to you, hand on heart, the talismans that I seem to get more often than anything else are for team player. I don't want team player. I do not hunt with Sharkalakas, thank you very much. Never have, never will. Never have, never will. I've hunted with Sharkalakas before. I'm not against Sharkalakas. I'd rather cats, but yeah. Quite frankly, I'm not in need of the skill previously mentioned. Almost out of my beer, sadly. I do have another one, but I almost want to save it for tomorrow. I'll get more tomorrow, I'll have another one now. Because there's Marbok as well. And Weizen. I will get them all. Deep Sixer Devil Joe. As you do. It's of course the Desert Devil Joe. One of the quests from Monsanto Tribe. Is Bedevil a Devil Joe in this game? I can't remember. I know Into the Inferno isn't, but maybe Bedevil a Devil Joe's in this game. I'm not entirely sure. Was it Into the Inferno or Into the Fire? I can't remember. It was either Into the Fire or Into the Inferno. That was the one in the volcano. There was a Devil Joe quest for each of those locations. I didn't do Deep Six all that much. I mostly did Tundra and Volcano. Oh, it's in high rank, and oh, okay, so Into the Fire is in Village. That's good to know. I'd forgotten Bedevil a Devil Joe was in high rank. That makes more sense to space it out across the different ranks, instead of having them all in the same quest list in G rank, or in the highest rank. Of course, it was a high rank game in Tri, so... Anyway, I might go Alteos Incanonis, is that what it is? Yes. That is what I shall use today. I don't know what bow I prefer, actually. It was a choice between either this bow or the nether bow. I love them both, I really do. But I put all that time into getting that fucking nether bow and I still haven't really used it much. I really should be using that one, but I do love the Elatrion bow Oh, so much. It's a lovely thing. Alright. Off we go. Pull out another beer. I'll, more Urbok. I'll do what I can to not harm the bottle cap. Nah, too late. I already fucked it up. Maybe this bottle opener is a bit rough. If I wanted to preserve the bottle tops. Oh. Well, that's what happens when you're distracted. When you're fighting a devil Jew. Might actually briefly leave the area. Actually, I won't, because Tavo's going to be left in here alone. Oh, there you go. I'm going to briefly pour my beverage. As you do. Okay. Back to the hunt. Sorry, I'm not really contributing much here, am I? I'm back now. Ready to help. To get in position to avoid that. You could see that if I had not rolled there, I would have been hit. I knew exactly what the risks were, which is why I rolled. I do love this bow, really. The main reason why I like it, and I've talked about it before, it is because I didn't have it for the longest time. And by the time I realised that I'd forgotten about it entirely, and I'd used so many Sky Swayers with so many other Elatrion weapons, I really was no longer of the mind to even hunt Elatrion, so I really wanted this bow, but didn't want to get the Sky Swayers to make it, so I just didn't have it for so long. And then I finally made it, like, I don't know, 7 months ago or something. And I'm really glad that I did. I don't think it was a year ago. It could have been a year ago. Starting to lose track of time these days. I used to be better with it, but now I don't know. Time's moving strangely these days. At least for me. Oh, did not mean to turn my camera like that. That was as confusing for me as it was for you, dear viewers. If you could get the hell out of here, that'd be great. Don't know why I'm bothering to swing my arrow at him like that. It's really not helpful at all. Stop it! Fuck off. Go away. The arrow does deal good damage, you know. As hard as it would be to imagine. Case in point. It's not totally useless. I can't recall if having coatings equipped actually changes the melee damage. I don't think it does. It might. And it might depend on the game, too. It shouldn't change the damage for the reason that the way coatings work is that, I don't know if you've ever taken notice of it, but there's a little coating bottle that's actually on the bow itself, or at least with some bow designs. The idea is that it coats the arrow as you draw the arrow into the bow. If you haven't even put the bow, or rather loaded the arrow into the bow, then it's not going to be coated in anything. That's the point. Seems that Tavo's show is a Spanish player. I actually didn't know. Because he's apologizing in Spanish for having died. Tis quite alright. He will be forgiven. What are you... oh, thought he was eating. He seemed like he was travelling somewhere with purpose. Get the hell away from me. Hungry dinosaur. What would I ever do without good beer? Looks like the sun is starting to return. Interestingly enough. Well, the rain has passed. Too little, too late weather. I'm getting towards the end of my recording. Not really, I've still got maybe 2 or 3 more hunts in me, but would have rather to have this natural light a little sooner. It's still not amazing, but it's slowly but surely coming back. Nowhere near as dark as it was before. Flinches backwards, then flies forwards from the tail cut. Pretty funny to watch. Now, what's more appetizing, Devil Joe? This lovely, shining, golden piece of meat, or your own tail? What will you eat? Only time will tell. Oh, it looks like he's about to limp out. Yep. Well, he's got places to limp. He's running away, literally. He's not... he'd rather run away than eat, which says a lot, coming from a Devil Joe. Oh. Well, that was one of the weirdest Devil Joe deaths I've ever seen. Might not have been weird for you guys, but... well, mainly referring to Enten, because he's in the game, playing. But on my screen, that was really weird. Who's here? Oh, it's a Delex. Thought it was a Diablos for a brief moment. I'd seen something moving inside my camera's field of view, and given its coloration, I assumed that it was indeed a Diablos. It was not. It was not. Oh, it's actually in English. Schlenkerla, the historic smoked beer brewery. Echt Schlenkerla Rauch... I don't know if it's Rauchbier. Rauchbier? I think it's Rauchbier. Okay. Echt Schlenkerla Rauchbier Bock is the complex sibling of the classic Merzen smoke beer. So rather than Meerbock, maybe it's Merzen. Echt Schlenkerla Merzen. Anyway, exactly like the classic, all its barley malts are kilned and smoked by burning beechwood logs in the historic Schlenkerla fire maltings. Its higher smoke malt concentration and the longer maturation in the 14th century beer cellar underneath Bamberg create a taste profile of most intense smokiness, beautifully balanced with deep malt sweetness. As one of the last traditionally made smoked beers, Echt Schlenkerla Rauchbier is a passenger in the Ark of Taste by Slow Food. I don't know what that is, but anyway. www.smokebeer.com. Sounds more like you're smoking the beer, rather than smoky beer. But there you go. There's a bit of trivia on the back of the bottle there. So evidently not the original. It seems the original, which is indeed also in my local bottle shop, is worth a try. And I'll grab that too. Does seem like I need to sell some Double Joe stuff, so I will do so. Alright. Where are you, Devil Joe stuff? No, just sell it. Honestly. Was that all? Yes. I would love to find Savage Devil Joe. Let's do a Savage Joe. He can't join it. He's Hunter rank 7. Shit. We can't do Savage Devil Joe. No wonder I never do Savage Devil Joe. It's because all the people that I fucking play with can't do it. Or at least there's one guy who can't. The point of the matter is that it's HR 8 minimum. And Costa is Hunter rank 7. Annoyingly. I can't do much about that. Double Stygian? Very well. That's not too bad. What would I like to bring? Something fun. Let's bring it. Don't know if I want to bring a lance. I could go switch axe for a change. Haven't been doing much switch axe, have I? And for good reason. But I think it's time. Let's whip out the old switch axe. I don't know how many times I've actually used this on camera. Strangely enough, I think it might have been I think it was the second nether weapon I ever made. I think the first one was the sword and shield, and this was the second one. Why, I don't know. Must have been more in the mood to use switch axe at that time. I've never been a huge fan of switch axe, but I guess I've been less critical of it in the past. But yeah, among the nether weapons, I think this is the worst. I really do. It's different to the other nether weapons. The sharpness isn't as good. It's just not as good of a weapon. That's what it is. It's not the sharpness, it's the lack of elemental damage that I don't like about it. Oh well. I guess it's a fine weapon, it's just not quite what I want out of a nether weapon. Anyway. I suppose giving it more elemental damage would have been imbalanced. Off we go, Costa. N10 disconnected again. God damn it. Alright. We've got a Popo who is looking to get the hell out of here as soon as possible. This one is pretty big. This is a big Stygian. Look at the size of him. He's a titan. That has to not continue. That really cannot continue. I will reload this because this is a good opportunity to do so. This Popo is very confused. If you're going to leave, then leave. And I would certainly recommend you do so. Aha. Intends using the... Oh, I forgot the G-rank name of it. I know it goes from Chak Chak to Gimbal Gaia and then some other fucking thing. Anyway. I haven't used that for a while either, I should actually do that. It would have been a fun choice. Now I do generally try to use the body to block these orbs. Well, depending on the situation. Look out, Costa. Seriously, man, what are you doing? I guess he's never fought a Stygian before. There's no other reason why he would have done that. He just doesn't know what's coming. He doesn't even wait to see what's happening. He just runs in there and starts attacking without any implementation of strategy whatsoever. I don't know. You can play like that if you want, but you're not going to get much in the way of positive results. Get in the trap, come on. If you fucking... okay, good. If Costa would have upswung me in that moment, I might have completely lost my shit. I'm not saying that would have happened, it's just something that might have transpired. No guarantees either which way. Reloading. This is how you use axe mode, mister. You pull yourself forwards like so, and you chop. Chop your way through. No fucking upswings, man. See that? That's not how you use it. You hold forwards. Lead by example. Or at least attempt to do so. Sorry if I hit you, Tavo. I knew he was going to be in that position. I don't know. I just had a feeling that he'd do that. Look at that. Fucking... that's crazy. That's really fast. I understand he's got reduced health, but come on. That's insane. He did not last long at all. Tantamount to a beatdown, I say. Wouldn't it be funny if he charged himself in the doorway and hit whoever joined? Or whoever entered the area. It would be funny, yet not funny at the same time. Don't even want to talk about that. I got stuck in his body, basically. He's too damn big. Don't limp out again. And he's dead. I will actually carve him because I think I need Stygian mantles. They're not actually mantles. Stygian sky emeralds. This is an example of a subspecies that does have its own rare drop. There aren't too many of... oh, fuck right off with your crap. How can I have possibly thought for even a moment? Oh, that quite frankly is what you deserve, Costa. Enjoy. How does it feel to be on the receiving end of it? Arsehole. Anyway, I was about to say, how could I have for even a moment thought that there were no Bullfango in this game? Because I always spawn in that area and get assaulted by Bullfango when I play in the Tundra location. Well, I don't always spawn in there. What I will say is that when I spawn in there, I always get assaulted by Bullfango. I do not always spawn there. And that is the point. Okay, well, that's fine. You can fucking apply Dragon Blight to me just by getting hit, normally. Annoying as that is. I'd like to get another one of those beatdowns. Doomlink requests beatdown of monster. I'm actually going to sharpen it. Seeing as though I do start with a bit of purple. Seems like a good opportunity to sharpen. Also, I've decided we have a pitfall over here. Very good timing too. I believe he becomes more elementally susceptible under these circumstances. Oh no. I'm glad I didn't position myself to hit the head there. Otherwise that would have hit me. Good. I take great pleasure in fucking up Costa with the switch axe, I have to tell you. He deserves nothing more. Keep away from that. Good tail cut there. Oh. Can't really see what's going on. There's a big body moving around on top of me. I think Costa's already starting to learn not to upswing with the switch axe, strangely enough. Stop it! Stop! There's a time and a place, Costa, seriously. Don't get too elemental burst happy. And I will carve that tail too. I don't know exactly what I need the Stygian Sky Emerald for, but it's something. I'll be doing one more hunt. I would have really liked to have done Savage Devil Joe, but I can't with this guy. Sadly. Anyway. Oh, there's a shiny over there. I didn't see it, but I saw no other reason for N10 to ping. So, I assumed that it was, and it was. Good night. Out you go. I was about to say sorry, Mr. Popo, and then I realised, oh, that's a character. Yes, we all know Mr. Popo. Most of us do, anyway. No Sky Emerald today, but I don't really feel like I need it all that much. I'm sure I need it for something or other, but it's not that big of a deal to me. I'm gonna sell some of this again. Let's see what our last hunt is. I'm just gonna hope it's not fucking Brachydios. If it is Brachydios, I swear to you, I will veto that posting. I will say, nope, we're not doing it. I'll do it once, but not twice, and certainly not 3 times. Just making sure the chroma key's not cutting into me all that much. Seems to be fine. Yep. We're under control. Just as well. Just as well. Come on, Costa. No pressure. Last hunt of the day. What's Tavo Show's huntering? 601. I see. He's got a lot more resource points than me. I've got so few resource points because I barely play the offline. Because I did all of my offline play in Try, I just had no desire to do much of that in this game. It's basically the same offline as it was in Try. It's better, it's an improvement, but I still wasn't in the mood. I've always been saying, oh, I'll go and play the offline eventually, but I still haven't gotten around to it, so... Yeah, I barely have any resource points at all. Got fucking 7,000. I'm not sure what Costa's up to. Probably forging something. Doomlink claims not to know, then puts forth a fairly reasonable guess as to why he's not here. What if it's something really crap? It could be, I really don't know what to expect. I haven't told him that this is the last quest, so... Yeah, what is it? Midnight? Like Diablos. Look, I'm not a fan of Diablos, but I'll do it. I'm not gonna say no! I want a fun final hunt. I mean, it'll be fine. I can live with this. Might use a hunting horn. That'll make it more fun for me. Here's hoping I wasn't the only one who thought of that. Because okay, he's going heavy bow gun, good. But yeah, I'm not... to be honest, hunting horn is probably one of the few things that I could use to make this fun. Even a gun or a bow would not make this fun. Hunting horn, on the other hand, that's good, because I can actually focus on something that doesn't involve hitting the monster. I can focus on my songs. I mean, yes, ideally you want to hit the monster while playing your songs, but I don't always do that. I quite oftentimes focus on playing my song as quickly as possible, which usually involves staying away from the monster so that I don't get my songs interrupted. If I were playing songs that didn't need to be encored, that would be fine. But most of the songs that I play require an encore, at least to be fully effective. And, quite frankly, playing encores whilst trying to hit the monster with your hunting horn is a bit unrealistic. Yeah, I think we're ready to go. That's right, I remade this set, didn't I? I'm just looking at it to refamiliarize myself with it. I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with it. Yeah. Certainly an improvement over what I had before. Tavo was making sure that Costa didn't depart without me. I like Tavo, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I don't think the chances are very high that he would depart without me, but I suppose anything's possible. Tavo knows the community well. And it does happen. Even in this game, I mean, I talk about how this community's a whole lot better than Generations Ultimate, but really this community always has been marginally worse than the Try community. And some weird shit goes on. Like people departing on quests without you. In complete violation of logic. I meant to stop and consume a hot drink, actually. But that's fine. I'll start off with self-improvement because Costa's still making his way in. That angle that Diablo's turned at was a bit crazy. I need to familiarize myself with the note sequence. It is that. About what I was expecting it to be. As you can see, much safer to do encores over here. And I won't bother playing high-grade earplugs. I believe I can encore it to high-grade. It starts off at small, but I'm assuming that it encores to a higher level. Or at least a level that could resist this particular rule. Which is one of the high-grade rules. I'm keeping out of your way. This monster is so fast. Can you appreciate how fast that is? The speed at which this monster moves is faster than anything that had previously been in the series, let me tell you. Because monsters speeding up in G rank was unique to this game when it came out. So Diablos moving this fucking fast really was a novelty. But not a very pleasant one. Not one that you find enjoyable and exciting because it's new and interesting, but rather fairly frustrating. There you go. Diablos was aiming for someone else, but fortunately stopped short of hitting me, which was rather fortunate. I'll wait until N10 returns to top up attack up large. Very good. You keep the hell away from me. I know all about your tail swings. I've learnt them well from 1st and 2nd gen. I know when you're gonna do it. It's part of your makeup. Hopefully I can play my song in peace. As you can clearly see, nothing is promised when it comes to this monster. Oh god, if you could not glitch around, that would be even better. To be completely honest with you. Whoa! Managed to get iframes on that. There are always iframes, it's just whether or not they're helpful, or whether or not you can make use of them appropriately. That is a different story. Ugh! To keep away from Mr. Elemental Burst Extraordinaire over here. There's our knockout. Hoping for broken horns here. That was really annoying. I was being slowly pushed further and further away from the head. And I'm telling you, it would have been probably the last hit that broke those horns. Because when that death scene took place, I did not see that monster with both horns broken. So it was probably the last hit, which is very nice. Very good. And a reasonably fast hunt, in spite of the death. Because of course the hunts do slow down when one of the team members has to take time to get back into the room. Needless to say, the monster does not take any damage from the teammate, who has to take time getting back into the room while they are doing that. So it does slow down the hunt slightly, but it wasn't noticeable. Black Curled Horn. I actually don't have too much in the way of Black Diablo stuff. Who would have thought? I really don't like fighting this monster. Oh, what's that? Health plus 13, protection plus 5. That's not amazing, but it's pretty good. It's definitely on the upper tier of... Oh, that was a Gold Crown Large fucking... Black Diablos. I didn't notice that he was so big. I guess he was pretty big, wasn't he? Yeah. Makes sense. Well, I will let everyone know as soon as possible that I'm closing the room. Huntings. Thanks for huntings, I wrote. Brian, thanks for your help, says Tarvo. Tarvo, one of the people helping Costa, says thanks for your help. What's that supposed to mean? Anyway. Bit weird. But it's always good. It's nice to have no real solid connection with Tarbo Show, but to fairly regularly play with him because of how small the community is. Like, I've been playing with him on and off for what I can only assume to be 4 years now. I don't think I remember him from back when the game was new, because that was a much larger community. It was easier to not come across the same people when there were so many people playing, but I think it's been at least 4 years that I've been playing with him on and off. Anyway, I do thank you all for watching, and I'll see you. Only cursed lobbies left. Yeah, go play with Geordie, if he's still around. He's a great guy. He's anyway. I do thank you all for watching. I'll see you when I'm next recording something that you would like to watch. And, yeah, I won't do anything else today. I've already done 2 recordings today. I think that will do. And, do expect more tomorrow, I suppose. I'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.